What's up guys, welcome to Munchkins Gaming, where we take your gaming to the next level. This is Munchkins logging in to bring you another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video, and welcome back to another Should You Pull video, where I give you my reasons why you should and should not pull for certain banners that are upcoming to Dissidia Opera Omnia. In this video we are going to be concentrating on Eald'Narche'S event banner, where you can grab his 15, 35, and of course his EX weapon, alongside with GARNET'S 15, 35, and her EX weapon as well. Both these characters can be realized at the start of this event, and the third wheel for this one is going to be the twins, which you can grab their 15 and 35 CP weapon. Now, as always, like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help my channel, guys, and I really do appreciate all the support that you guys give me. Now, at the time of this recording, we still haven't reached 175 likes on my previous Should You Pull video, so the like goal will remain the same for this video, 175 likes. This video is also being recorded in advance, so hopefully you guys like the new layout. If you don't, just leave a comment down below. I'll try to change it in the next 2 weeks when I do come back at the time of this recording. Now, without further ado, let's start this video. Okay guys, so let's start this video off with GARNET'S rework, and we'll start off with her first ability, Aquamarine Water Glint. And these are the changes that at least I've noticed comparing from the previous one to the current rework. This will raise her own Brave by 100% of her attack, increasing the Brave hit count by 4, increasing the Brave potency. She will also get a 150% max Brave overflow limit with this one, and increasing the allies' Brave by 50% of the HP damage dealt. Water Dragon will now also have extra effects. This will last for extra 4 turns and will raise her own max Brave by 20%, raising the party's max Brave by 20%, and raises the party's initial Brave by 40%. Also, when she uses Deluge, the Brave hit count will increase to 2 and increasing its potency, and will increase the party's Brave by 70% of her attack. While the Water Dragon is active, you will have access to her HP attack, Dragon Wave. This will be a 2-hit Water Brave plus HP attack, which will have a 120% max Brave overflow limit, and will increase the allies' Brave by 50% of the HP damage dealt. Okay guys, now let's move on to her second ability, Peridot Thunder Flash, and these are the changes. Basically, she will increase her own Brave by 150% of her attack. This will have an increase in Brave hit count, and that will go up to 4, increase in Brave potency, 180% of max Brave overflow limit, and Thunder Sar will have special effects as well. This will have increased duration by 4, and will raise her own Brave by 20%. And will also raise the party's max Brave by 20% and raise the party's attack by 20%. Also, when she's using Super Bolt, this will now become a 3-hit AoE Thunder Magic Brave attack plus single target HP attack. This will have an increase in Brave potency and will increase her own Brave by 20% of the HP damage dealt. Also, while Thunder Sar is active, she will have access to Hammer of Judgment, which will be a 2-hit Thunder Brave plus HP attack, which will have a 120% max Brave overflow limit and will have 20% splash damage to non-targets. Now let's take a look at GARNET'S EX, which is a pretty old EX. However, this will give her the access to Holy Prayer, which basically will recover the party's HP by 50% of their max HP and increases the party's Brave by 50% of the max Brave. This will also give 10 turns of the Holy Prayer buff, which basically restores the Brave by 80% of their initial Brave and gives a Water and Thunder enchant, or increases the Water and Thunder Brave damage by 20%. At 1 out of 3, this will lower the action delay for this EX ability. At 2 out of 3, increasing the effects of Holy Prayer by 10%. And finally, at 3 out of 3, increasing its recast speed. Okay guys, now let's move on to GARNET'S Realization. At 0 out of 3, this will raise her own max Brave and attack by 40%, and increasing the effects of Holy Prayer by 20%. This will also give it a 150% max Brave overflow limit. At 1 out of 3, this will raise the party's max Brave and attack by 40%. And at 2 out of 3, when using Holy Prayer, she will have 1 turn of Divine Guardian, which basically increases the stolen Brave overflow limit by 50%. All enemies will also be inflicted by 4 turns of Water and Thunder Imperil. This will not use any use count on the next turn as well. You will also have access to Holy Prayer for 10 turns at the start of the quest, and on her first turn this will not consume use count, and no action delay does not increase the turn count, however will still decrease the friend and summon action count. Finally, at 3 out of 3, this will increase the recast speed of Holy Prayer, and enemies attack will not reduce her HP below 1 while she's at least at 50% of her max HP. When she's using Holy Prayer, the Divine Guardian buff effect will have an increase of 30% of its effects and nullifies the action delay, does not increase the turn count, however still decreases the friend and summon action count. The bonus sphere for this one is HP heal attack up long. When HP is restored, raises the attack by 10% for 6 turns. Alright guys, so after hearing about Garnet's rework and of course her realization, how much investment should you be giving Garnet in terms of your ingots? Now honestly, if you really like Garnet, I highly recommend just going 3 out of 3 for this one. Because the main reason for this is the increase of recast speed for her EX. Now her EX initially just starts at slow, and you get a second recast speed increase in recast speed at 3 out of 3 for her. And you know, you get all the extra goodies as well. Plus, it's actually pretty nice to have an EX that does not increase your turn count, and you get an instant turn as well. And the survivability is actually a nice touch as well. So overall, I think 3 out of 3 for Garnet if she's a character you really want to invest in or use moving forward. Okay guys, now let's move on to Eald'Narche'S abilities with all his passives included. Now, first off, I do want to explain that Eald'Narche has a unique effect just like Kai's has. His one is called Exoplates. Basically, this will lower the Brave and HP damage taken that he takes, and will have a 100% debuff evasion. This also prevents him from being KO'd and leaves him at 1 HP. When he is below 1% of his HP, he will basically recover his own HP and will dispel the Exoplate's unique effect. Okay, now let's move on to his first ability called Phase Shift, which is going to be a 4-hit AoE range Brave plus HP attack. This will have a 150% max Brave overflow limit and will increase the Brave damage dealt on a single target. This will also recover some of his HP, and this will not consume any ability use count. It will also nullify any action delay and does not increase the turn count, and will decrease the friend and summon action count. Now, it is also important for me to emphasize this, that Phase Shift will dispel Exoplates, and this ability will turn to Stellar Burst afterwards. Now, Stellar Burst is going to be a 5-hit AoE range Brave plus HP attack, which the HP damage dealt is going to be split equally amongst all enemies. This will also inflict a speed down debuff, as well as having a 200% max Brave overflow limit. Now, his second ability is called Uranus Cascade, which is going to be a 4-hit AoE range Brave plus HP attack. This will have a 120% max Brave overflow limit, as well as a 50% splash damage to non-targets. This will inflict attack down debuff on all enemies and will grant him Ingenuity buff for 8 turns. Now, this actually has been translated to different things, such as Age Wisdom or Mold Cunning, but basically it gives him a buff that raises his max Brave and attack as well. Now, when Exoplates is dispelled, basically he will recover all his ability uses, and it will become Omega Javelin, which is a 5-hit AoE range Brave plus HP attack, which will have a 50% splash damage as well as increasing the Ingenuity buff by 4 turns. This will have a 180% max Brave overflow limit and will cast Warp on all enemies for 2 turns. This will also inflict a defense down debuff on all the enemies. Now, Warp grants him additional turns after the afflicted target's turn. Warp does not increase the turn count, I should say, as well. So this is a very powerful ability. Alright guys, now let's go over Eald'Narche'S EX, which is going to be Vortex. This is going to be a 5-hit AoE range Brave plus HP attack and will increase the Brave damage dealt if there's only a single target, and this will deal 100% HP damage to all enemies. After Exoplates is dispelled, this will become the plus variant and will have a 120% max Brave overflow limit, increasing the HP damage dealt by 20% and inflicts terror on all enemies for 1 turn. Now terror basically increases the HP damage taken from the caster, and the enemy that's inflicted with this cannot act when targeting the caster. Now at 1 out of 3 limit break, this will raise the Brave damage dealt, at 2 out of 3 increasing the duration of terror by 1 turn, and at 3 out of 3 increasing the recast speed for Vortex. This will have a slow recast speed to begin with. Okay guys, now let's move on to his realization. At 0 out of 3, this will increase the Brave potency and will have a 120% max Brave overflow on the normal Vortex, and the plus variant will have a 140% max Brave overflow. This will also gain you access to his Brave attack plus, which is going to be a 4-hit Brave count, HP attack plus, which is a 3-hit range Brave plus HP attack, and will have a 120% max Brave overflow as well. This will also extend the Ingenuity buff by 1 turn. And at 1 out of 3, this will raise his max Brave by 30% and his attack by 50%. Now at 2 out of 3, when the quest starts, he will have the Ingenuity buff for 8 turns, and upon dispelling Exoplates, this will inflict terror on all enemies for 2 turns. And finally, at 3 out of 3, this will increase the Brave hit count to 8 and increasing its Brave potency. Vortex will get a 150% max Brave overflow, and the plus variant will get a 170% max Brave overflow limit. The bonus sphere for this one is going to be debuff success raging boost up. After inflicting a debuff, this will raise your max Brave by 3%, and this can be activated up to 5 times. This can activate once per turn, and the same spheres do not stack. Okay guys, so after hearing all this information regarding Eald'Narche'S abilities with all his passives, and of course his realization, how much ingots should you be investing on Eald'Narche if he's a character that you're really interested in and want to use moving forward? Honestly, to me, you can really get away with 2 out of 3 with Eald'Narche, because I mean, this what you're after at 2 out of 3 here is the terror debuff on all enemies when Exoplates basically gets dispelled. This is available at 2 out of 3. However, I would highly recommend going 3 out of 3 with Eald'Narche for the main reason that he is a primarily a damage dealer, and scaling wise, damage dealers always tend to scale less, well, not that great when it comes to meta. So every hit count really matters with Eald'Narche, and honestly, even though it seems like he's not really getting a lot at 3 out of 3, there's the increase in Brave hit counts and of course the increase in max Brave overflow. I mean, it's not too bad because Eald'Narche actually has a 100% HP damage dealt to all enemies, so having that extra overflow isn't too bad of an investment. Anyway guys, I think we're towards the end of this video, so the final question remains is, should you pull? Now, in all honesty, I gotta say, I think it's going to be a yes for me. There are 2 really great characters in this banner, 1 great support and 1 great magic damage range damage dealer. So if you're really lacking on any of those in your roster, then I highly recommend actually pulling on this banner. However, this is one of those things where you have to really look at your roster and probably have to look a little bit forward to see what else is out there. As you guys may know, and I know a lot of you may know already, that the LD and burst era is going to be coming pretty soon. So investing on all these characters may not be the wisest choice. However, they are still going to be chaos viable. So it's really going to depend on you. However, for me personally, I think this is a banner well worth investing into. Definitely use your tickets, and you can use your gems as well. For me personally, this banner is kind of so-so for me, for the main reason that I already got Garnet's full kit. So I'm probably going to be investing my tickets. I don't know if I'm really going to be after that gems, but using gems, sorry. So that's just me, that's my personal situation. And like I said, you need to really look at your own situation when you're going to be pulling for this, even though I say this is a banner well pulling for. Anyway guys, that's it for this video. Please do remember to click like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help my channel out a lot and helps with the YouTube algorithm as well. And as always, follow me on Facebook and on Twitter at Munchkins Gaming. And remember guys, there is a 175 like goals for this video, and hopefully we can get to that. I know I'm recording this in advance, so I can't really check if I can release the next video a little bit early, since I'll be pretty much gone for 2 weeks. So one last thing for me is going to be, leave down in the comments below if you like this setup better. Do you like it better when I actually just type everything out? Does it look much clearer? Can you see very well even though it's on your phone? Those are the kinds of things that I was getting. I got a feedback that they couldn't see what if I just crop and snip the ones in the Dissidia DB. They couldn't see very well at 360, so I decided to change it up a little bit, and I also decided to try and summarize as much as I can regarding reworks. I don't want to really go over the ones that we already know that's already in game, like things like, for example, for Garnet'S, her AoE splash damage, or split damage, sorry, is already built in. I didn't really want to cover that too much. Let me know down in the comments below, so I will know in the future whether I will stick with this. It does take me a little bit more time, but if you guys like it this way, I will try and stick by it. Anyway, this is Munchkins logging off. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next level.